how should we see probiotics? Okay, but first, the first question is actually, what is this? Okay, whether today we are taking the probiotics. So I think anyone that is in the call now, probably you can type 111 if let's say you are taking probiotics. You can type 222 if you never heard of what is probiotics before. Okay, so just a small interaction with you all. Okay, so for those who actually already taking probiotics, I believe you more or less you know roughly what is probiotics, but there, believe it or not, there's a lot of our friends around us that actually don't have a clear idea what is probiotics. To them, they just know that it's something that they can get from daily diet. Okay, later I'll share also what are those daily diet. Okay, but what is the function of probiotics? Why do we need to take it, and how often the frequency we need to take? I think a lot of people, they are having a very vague idea on this part. Okay, so second question, is it part of nutrition? Okay, if let's say you think probiotic is part of nutrition, you can type 111. If you think it's not actually part of nutrition, you can type 222 also. Okay, but actually probiotic in short is a good bacteria. Okay, so in other words, it's a living thing, it's a microorganism, it's not a form of nutrition. So in the previous session, we have shared also the seven category of nutrition. So it's not part of any of them. So it's something very special. Why is so special and why is so important that I will share in today's sharing, so that every one of us will have a better understanding on probiotics after today. Okay, so first of all, I would like to start from understanding more on our human body ecosystem. Okay, so to explain it in a simpler manner, try to imagine on the bottom there, you see there's a picture on the bottom left. You see there's a picture of the forest. So inside the forest or inside the jungle, normally there's growing of all these things. Okay, what do you see in the picture? Mushroom, right? But a lot of time when we ask people, they say they see mushroom, but actually underneath the mushroom, there is still all this green color thing, which is the moss or the mold. Okay, so all these things is like part of the forest ecosystem. Okay, just that they are so small that a lot of time we just ignore it. We just, when we ask people what we have inside the jungle, people normally say, oh, got animal, got tree, all that. But a lot of time we just didn't recall that actually got all these small things that actually cover very huge area of forest. So today when we talk about probiotics, right, it's very similar to this concept. Okay, so on the right hand side, you can see it's actually a magnifier magnifying our guts area. So inside our guts, we have all these villus, which is actually to help us absorb all the nutrition one. So you can see around it so many like hairy thing, right? But actually it's not hairy, it's all the bacteria and also the probiotics, okay, in different form. Okay, this is just one form of it. Okay, and this is already magnified many times, only you can see it. But if using bare eyes, or even sometimes doctor using the scope, they will not able to see all this as well. So it's as small as that. So it's just like you flying a plane above a forest, you will not be able to see all this mushroom and also all this mold and moss, right? So but is it important? Even though we cannot see it on a daily basis, or even we cannot see with our bare eye, is very, very important. Why? Because our human bodies, right, we contain trillions of all these microorganisms, regardless of whether it's a good or bad. Okay, now we are just talking about microorganism. Okay, almost trillion. So compared to our own body cells, right, you know our own human body cell is the ratio is actually 10/1. So it's even more. I mean, the quantity is even more than our own cell. Okay, so for example, every one cell, there are actually 10 microorganisms against it. Okay, so is it harmful to us? So many inside our body. Okay, we will discuss that later on. So because of their small size, right, microorganisms can make up a small percentage only, although their quantity is a lot, but actually the weight, it didn't actually comes to that, okay, but it's still quite substantial because it's about 2 to 6 pounds. So 2 pound convert to kilogram divided about 2 lah, okay? So that means minimum also you have about 1 kilo of all these microorganisms inside your body. So I remember, I recall just today in the afternoon, I was just chatting with Jeannie, right? Then Jeannie said sometimes she measure the weight, sometimes 1 kilo increase, sometimes 1 kilo less. Okay, it could be due to your microorganism also. Okay, so just joke, okay, but I think it's very substantial. Okay, 1 kilo up to 3 kilo of microorganism actually living in our body. Okay, and actually they not only living as a parasite, each of them play a role, especially the good one. So this is the good one that we want to really focus on, because it will actually help the entire ecosystem. Okay, so when should we actually take probiotics? If we ask this question to anyone around us, they'll say, when I feel like want to take yogurt, okay, or when I feel like want to take kimchi or whatsoever from the food. But is it really so? Or some people which is more conscious, or they have a little bit of knowledge about probiotics, one probably they'll tell you, oh, whenever I have constipation or whenever I feel discomfort at the guts area or what. But is it only during that time we take? So many people actually thinks that probiotic is only for people who have the sensitive allergic, people who have the constipation, or people who have the guts issue, that they should take probiotics for the health benefit. But is it really so? Okay, all this is true. But on top of that, actually, we have a lot of additional benefits that we need to consider. Okay, because probiotic is so important, not only to help people improve their allergic issue, to improve their constipation issue, or improve their guts. Okay, because there are other important benefits that I have picked a few here. Okay, so first of all, it helps to better absorb our nutrition. So from our diet, whenever we eat something, do you know that most of the important nutrition is being processed at the guts and onwards? Okay, so starting from our stomach, and also when it goes to the intestine, a lot of the nutrition absorption happen there. So what will actually affect the absorption process and the efficiency of it is largely depending on our microorganism ecosystem there. So if let's say today we have a problem to strike a balance there, then it will indirectly and directly affect the absorption of nutrition, and that is, to me, very crucial. Because if let's say today you eat very good, very quality food, but you don't have a healthy guts, then all this is actually put into waste, right? And then second, it can also regulate our emotion and also improve our immune system. Okay, so the first part, emotion, you might feel weird. Hey, how come intake probiotic will help the emotion? It's true, because there's already so many research and studies saying that our guts is actually related to our brain and our thinking. Okay, there's actually a correlationship. So if let's say our gut is healthy, our thinking and our mindset will also improve in a way. Okay, and then second part of it, why it can help in terms of immune system, is because 70% of our immune system is built and also defend at our guts area. So actually, when our gut is good, then our immune system will also improve. Okay, so I think immune system nowadays everyone is very emphasized on, especially during this COVID time, and recent few days we have heard a lot of the new variants. Okay, which is even more contagious, and also they don't know yet whether it's as deadly as the Delta. Okay, so I think best of all this why we always advocate is best is actually our own immune system. Okay, number three, weight management. So it will also help our weight management, because you see, when it's related to point one, when we talk about the absorption of nutrition. So when the absorption of nutrition is not good, right? Those nutrition that actually help to regulate a lot of process in our body, including the sugar absorption, the fat absorption, and carbs absorption, all that will be in the mess. So whenever those are in the mess, right, and also it will affect our weight overall. And at the same time, if let's say our gut system don't have a lot of good bacteria, it will also not able to synthesize a lot of the food that we intake. So you actually affect the digestive system itself. So in indirectly and directly also affect our weight going up. So number 4, this is maybe a lot of people also don't know. So actually for probiotics, it will help to maintain a healthy female private part. Okay, so this is actually especially for those who have a discharge, they are having the itchiness, all that. So this could be due to the microorganism, the bad one has actually overruled the good one. So it's very important for us to replenish our body with a good probiotic so that they strike the balance and actually can improve this female condition, right? So how to actually to maintain bacteria? We talk so much about maintaining the bacteria, but how do we know what to maintain, how much to maintain, what is the ratio, all that? Okay, so today just some information to share with you all is that by right we should have, according to study, by right we should have 85% of good bacteria and 15% of bad bacteria to maintain that balance. But unfortunately, most of the time we are out of this ratio. Okay, we could totally don't have good bacteria, or we have very little good bacteria. Why? I will also explain in the subsequent slide. But here also on the right hand side, we can see it's not only in the guts. All the microorganism is all over our body. Otherwise, it will not come to 1 kilo, so many, right? So it's like starting from our mouth itself, even in our airway, in our trachea, in our body, other parts of our body, guts especially, and also the private parts, and so on. Okay, so even on our skin, we have a microorganism living. Okay, so bacteria is all over our body, actually internally and also externally. Okay, so second is also, why should we still replenish and intake probiotics diet? So now we are talking, since already so many, why we still need to replenish probiotics? So the keywords here is actually probiotic is the good one. So we need to replenish the good one to strike that balance, because the importance of balance is the key point here. Because you might have a lot of organism, it might still weigh 1 kilo. If let's say we're able to extract everything and then we weigh it, it's still 1 kilo, but probably out of this 1 kilo is 90% bad bacteria, and also you only have 10%. So how to ensure that balance is actually to consistently replenish the good one so that you will maintain that balance. Okay, because the bad one will always be there. It's so easy to have the bad one, which I'll also explain in the later slide. It's due to our daily habit, all that. Okay, so there's also another point. There are good bacteria, bad bacteria in our body lah. All right, so here is the slide that I'm going to explain why it's important to consistently maintain that balance, and why is always will be affected this balance, why it cannot stay at 85% and 15%, which is the ideal one. Why we cannot stay at this ratio? Because the fact is our lifestyle is so different, and there's so many threats in our day-to-day activities. So the first one, of course, diet habit. Ask ourselves, this is the question that we always share also during our nutrition sharing. Ask ourselves how many fruits and vegetables we take today, and how many of it is actually a quite very fresh one. It's like not overly cooked or a heavy gravy kind of vegetables that you intake. Okay, if we honest to ourselves, right, I think hardly we really take a lot, right? Okay, at least 5 to 6 bowls is quite impossible. So if let's say we don't have fibers and also all these vegetables and fruits, which is very important for the living of the good bacteria, then probably the balance already affect from there. First point. Second, the food choice. So again, same thing. The food choice is on whether we intake this fiber thing, or do we intake probiotics source of food. Okay, so we know roughly probiotic source of food: yogurt, kimchi, the quite common one like kombucha, all that. Okay, ask yourself again, have you taken those today? Even if you took today, will you take again tomorrow? No, don't know, right? Okay, because all these things is not cheap also. Okay, that it comes with a price, and sometimes it's not only price, it's also not convenient to get it. So number 3, stress. Okay, if let's say we are stressed with our work, we always stress, it will also affect the microorganism. Okay, just imagine like today, if let's say the forest is under high heat, right? then you will actually get burned. So when it burn, right, the mushroom, the moss, all that will also be affected. Same goes to the microorganism in our body lah. So anything that we feel stressed or we feel uneasy psychologically, it will lead to the physical change, and then it will affect the ecosystem of the microorganism as well. So number 4, obesity. Okay, so obesity, there are 2 sayings. So their first saying is that lack of probiotic actually cause obesity. There's also another saying, which is obesity cause lack of probiotics in our body. So it's like a vicious cycle. It could be either one. Is like the chicken and egg question. Okay, but there's already a such relationship. That means if let's say we can fix either one, then it will actually improve. So if let's say we are able to actually intake good probiotics, it will eventually improve the obesity as well, because the relationship is already there. Okay, and then number 5, medication. Okay, ask ourselves today. Actually, recently I saw a lot of friends still proudly like posting medication that they give to their kids, or even when they take medication themselves. I mean, not that I can post, but to me, it's not something to be proud of lah. Because if let's say today we are still heavily rely on medication and we don't know how to take care our nutrition, we don't know how to take care of a healthy lifestyle, then eventually, even when you recover this round, you will still get sick easily, and then you will still need to take medication again. So I think our role here, if let's say we have all this basic information on nutrition, on healthy lifestyle, we should play the role as an ambassador to share with a lot of people out there. Okay, but back to this topic here, when we talk about medication, it's so common. Just like I said just now, I keep seeing people post. So whoever that take medication, right, a lot of time it will also affect the entire microorganism ecosystem, especially antibiotic. You actually get rid of everything. So one round of taking antibiotics, the microorganism get wiped off, the population get wiped off immediately, because the antibiotic name itself, you should know. Okay, it's like antibiotic means living. Okay, anti any living thing, they kill 100% everything. Okay, because they want to be effective on the bacteria or the germs that actually cause your disease, all that, right? So in order to make sure you recover, it kills everything. Okay, so people who often take medication, I'm quite sure the balance in the microorganism and probiotic balance in their body definitely affected. So if you have such friends, do share with them, okay, how to actually replenish back after taking those medication. And then followed by also people who take alcohol will also affect the ratio. People who smoke will also. And then something that we cannot avoid also, our surrounding, the pollution. Even today, now we are sitting here, listen to this session, we are like looking at the UV exposure from our screen. We are also exposed to our indoor chemical, all that. If let's say you don't have atmosphere at home, and then all these things also, you will actually take in into your body, right? So whatever that we take in into our body, including air, water, food, all that, okay, it will affect the microorganism inside. Okay, so and others thing lah. Okay, other things that I didn't actually mention here. So it could be different factor. For example, you fall sick. Okay, even if you don't take medication, but if you fall sick, definitely the inside ratio will be affected. So that is why it's so important for us to replenish consistently. And another important information to share here is that based on the study also, our probiotics ratio drops very fast. Okay, especially in these modern days, a lot of us don't actually intake a proper meal. Fruits and vegetables is confirmed already, 80 to 90% in global and even in Malaysia population don't take enough fruits and vegetables. So without all these things input into the body, it's very hard for the probiotic to survive and colonize there for a long term. Okay, so you can see the chart here. When we grow older and older, the percentage keep dropping. Okay, this is just taking one of the good bacteria, one of the family, which is the bifido one. Okay, so the bifido family, you can see it's like keep dropping. Okay, of course, kids normally by right, kids should have relatively higher, but nowadays, even if you check, if they are able to check for kids, right, it's also low already. Because last time kids and babies, they eat a lot of natural food, but nowadays you see there's so many processed food, right? So what are the consequences? Okay, so if let's say today we don't take the effort to build back the balance, is it anything will happen or is okay also? Okay, so some people will be ignorant. They'll say it's okay lah. All this while I also didn't take probiotic, also nothing happened. So these are the types that I say is ignorant. But if let's say today we really take a serious look on the consequences, right? Okay, we know the benefits that it brings. So basically the consequences is the reversal of all those benefits that I mentioned. And on top of that, we also know that you will have other implications as stated here. First, we will have the diarrhea. Okay, so if let's say today we only keep having the bad bacteria there, we don't have enough good bacteria to process whatever food that we intake, sometimes it will cause diarrhea. And do you know that actually lactose intolerance can be improved with the existence of probiotics? So especially in Asia, a lot of us, we have this lactose intolerance and we don't know how to actually improve this condition. And then actually one of the ways through probiotics. Okay. And then second, immunity disease. So if let's say we don't have that balance anymore, then we will start to have immune system disease. So when we talk about immune system disease, it's very wide. It could be anything, flu, fever, all that will come. Okay. As long as our immune system is not good, anything that viral that go into our body, will affect our body and give that all those symptoms. So high blood pressure will also come, and then it will also cause high cholesterol, because I think all this detail I have explained in the earlier slide, whereby it will actually affect the absorption of all the nutrition and eventually will cause all these things, diabetic type 2, and then cardiovascular disease. Okay, so cardiovascular disease will then lead to the highest killer in Malaysia and also in globally. And weight issue is also something that will come along, right? So cancer is even more serious. I mean, it's even more scary. If let's say we and then depressed. Okay, so again, guts will relate to our brain. Okay, so I'm not sure whether one example that you can easily relate on this point is actually, do you realize that sometimes when we are very nervous before we present something or before you go to the interview, the nervous and the stress is in our mind, right? But do you experience before that you will like suddenly go to toilet and have to do the big business because of that nervous and that panic? So that actually is the most simple example to explain to us our mind and our gut is actually interrelated. Okay, so that is not all. You also see that people who have the poor digestive system already, and if let's say the lack of probiotics even more, it will even cause more issue. And then other things like bloating and also burping, it might also cause constipation, because constipation is not only because lack of fiber, it's also highly related with probiotics assistance also. And then for diarrhea is easily you will be triggered. That means you are very sensitive to certain food. Sometimes we need those microorganisms to break down those food content and let our body easily absorb it. If let's say it's not being break down, it often cause a lot of overreaction and also sensitive in our intestine, and then we'll go for diarrhea. Okay, that is how the reaction works. So how to actually replenish the probiotics? So this is the interesting part lah. Okay, so just now I already mentioned yogurt, kimchi, all those is a simple one. I'm not sure how many of you also got other type of food that you intake frequently for probiotic. You can leave it in the chat box if you can think of any. But from this picture itself, I feel that it's quite complete already, at least for the common one. Like you have yogurt, you have the fermented thing, and then you have kimchi, and then even you have the dark chocolate. Okay, dark chocolate also got a little bit of, have to be the real dark chocolate, and it's not the one that normal chocolate. Okay, so firstly, replenish before the issue mentioned earlier happened to us. Okay, first of all, this is the concept that we need to rectify first. So if today you're thinking that probiotic is like antibiotic or like medication, got issue, only eat, then that's wrong already, because you have to maintain that ecosystem there readily before anything in the earlier slide mentioned. Okay, second concept is we have to have the 3 good habits for probiotics intake. So what are the 3 good habits? First, you have to consistently intake. I think I have mentioned this many times. And then 2, eat more fruits and vegetables as the prebiotics, okay? Because we need the prebiotics to create the environment for all these food that we intake with probiotics. So for example, we take yogurt, it's good that actually you put some fruits into your yogurt, eat together, because the prebiotics will act as a food for the probiotics when it reach our guts. Okay, number 3, healthy lifestyle. So healthy lifestyle is very wide also, but you can refer back to what we shared in the last week. EARN is the easiest way to live a healthy lifestyle, and it actually covers most of the major aspects already, including exercise, how to do the good attitude, how to rest well, and also how to do the nutrition. So when all these combine together, your body will in a good mode. And when it's in a good mode, the ecosystem will always maintain its balance, okay, at its best. And then choice from the diet, just now we mentioned already, yogurt drinks, kimchi, kombucha, fermented beans, and all that. Okay, but we know that we can take it from the food, but what is some of the common challenge, and to me the most important challenge that we need to overcome and we need to aware of? Okay, so first of all, do we know how much the quantity of probiotics that we have in all the things that we mentioned above? Okay, of course, from natural food, we don't know how to quantify. But even in the processed one, like yogurt they pack readily, or yogurt drinks that they already packed readily, try to read the label. They only tell you what are if good one, okay, some good brand, they will at least tell you what are the probiotics that they have inside, but they will never tell you how much the probiotics that they have inside, okay? Because they cannot guarantee that, due to a lot of reasons that are mentioned in the subsequent point. Okay, so we do not need excessive amount daily, but quantity does matter. So today, if let's say you don't know the quantity, right, you won't know whether you replenish enough, or is it reasonable, or even whether is still any inside the products or the food itself. Okay, and then if there's too few, if let's say we intake too few, right, it will not play the role to balance up, because we know already, if let's say the population of the bad bacteria is more, right, you just input so little soldier of probiotic, do you think they're able to fight with the bad one? So of course they will lose the war anyway. So in another way, it's like a waste. You intake those things is just for craving, or it's just for the flavor only, okay? But it doesn't really play the role that the probiotics should play in our gut system, okay? And then also bear in mind, if let's say today we know, probably you will not give as much, so I try to intake more. But when you intake more, all these products, it comes with a lot of byproduct, especially sugar, which is our concern. So especially like yogurt drink tastes quite good, right? Okay, so when it tastes good, normally it comes with glucose or at least fructose. So all this, if let's say overconsume, you will also jeopardize our weight also. And then the second challenge is what species or what strain. Like I mentioned just now, some of the good brand, at least they will tell you, but a lot of the brand out there, they will not tell you. They will only tell you it's a yogurt. They will only tell you it's a yogurt drink. Okay, when you go to the label, nothing. You will not know what species, you will not know what strain, even family also you won't disclose. It's like the family, and then only go to the smaller one, which is the strain, right? So each strain will have a different function. Why we need to know is because each strain have its own function and the benefits to the body. So if let's say you don't know what you're taking, you only know it's probiotics, then fine. But then if let's say you have a particular issue like lactose intolerance, do you know which strain that actually help that? If you don't know, then you just keep taking and you feel probiotic also won't help one. It's because we don't actually intake correctly. Okay, so do we also get balanced good probiotics? When we say balance, if let's say this particular product or this food got good probiotic, but if let's say it's just monotonous, I mean only one type of species inside, or one strain inside only, of course it's good also, but it didn't give us that balance, right? We want different strain that actually handle different benefit and different function in our guts. then they can actually work together and create that synergy to bring more benefits to our body. Okay, and then this is the most challenging one, especially in Malaysia, such a hot weather and also humid country. Okay, where have you ever think of when you buy the yogurt drink or yogurt or whatsoever, kimchi, the readily packed one, are those probiotic inside the product still alive? Okay, I always ask myself after I like learn a lot of all this knowledge from Nutrilite and also all this sharing, right? I really ask myself, okay, in this picture, these are actually the proper environment to keep those stock. Okay, at least it have to be in a low temperature. But do you think KK Mart got this kind of store? Do you think Speed Mart got this kind of store? Okay, they have at the warehouse. Okay, probably they have at the warehouse. But what I'm trying to say is that when it reach the shop itself, if there's not enough space to put inside the fridge, where do you think they put? Inside their store, right? But do they have a regulated temperature in their store? Okay, I really doubt so. So the biggest challenge now is actually to let the probiotics get overcome all the obstacles and go to our guts, right? Okay, because in our body itself already got challenged. Okay, so very acidic stomach, and then after they pass through the stomach, it will actually go to the beginning end of our intestine. Beginning end of our intestine is filled with all this bile salt, which is emitted from our liver. Okay, so that will also create another change of environment for the probiotic. Will they able to overcome all this? Okay, and there's also a question, possible already non-existent through the supply chain. So now we said, okay, maybe the warehouse take care very nicely, but even when it reach the shop itself, they also put nicely inside the fridge, able to estimate correctly. There's no extra order. Okay, but how about when it's done at a manufacturing plant and they're being transferred to the warehouse, distribution center, or to all these shops? Okay, does every company or every vendor or every merchant using a cold chain logistic? Do you think so? Because cold chain logistic will be higher price. Is it possible that they also send using a normal logistic company, just a normal truck one without the cold chain? So that also poses another question. Is it already dead, all the probiotics, even before they reach the warehouse or reach the shop, right? So this is a question that we should ask ourselves as a consumer. And I also remember last time when there's Lynn also shared before that actually during their studies, right, they need to actually do an experiment or a research to study whether all these probiotics exist in different products. And the result is actually quite surprisingly, it's very low. I mean, the probiotic and some even none, okay, don't have any more probiotic inside the product. Okay, so that is also the reason why they will not put how many probiotics quantity. Okay, the first point, because once they put, any consumer that actually take it to the lab and do the experiment and test again, if there's none, they will get sued one. But if let's say they just tell you got this probiotic, they didn't tell you it's a live one, then nothing wrong with that. Okay, we as a consumer, we take the responsibility to consume that product. Okay, so today, what is the difference? Why so much challenge already, then we still want to take? Can we just ignore it? But today, if let's say we know the importance of it and we know the benefits that can be brought by these probiotics, right? We just find a good one. Okay, so there's one very good one, which is Nutrilite. Okay, so why I say it's good? There are a few key points that I can share in simple slide. Okay, so but from these three picture here, you can also see first, it makes sure arrive alive. Okay, you can arrive the guts and also intestine alive. How do they do that? Is our scientists actually pick the strain that actually have the resistance to the stomach acid and also the bile salt. Okay, second, okay, when it able to overcome all these challenges, it will reach the place that it's supposed to reach safely and perform the function that it's supposed to perform, which is to occupy as many parts of the intestine as possible, so that the bacteria don't have space to actually clog up the nutrition absorption space. Okay, so this is the third picture that you can see. This is how it happens there. Okay, so in short, these are all the key points why probiotics from Nutrilite is a great choice for us if let's say we are looking for this solution. First, the technology itself. So the technology is actually, I mentioned already, we pick a strain that actually resistant to all the challenge, and at the same time, it will be able to fill up our intestinal wall better. And then at the same time, is mentioned clearly also that actually 6.3 billions of beneficial bacteria colony forming units, which is CFU in short, okay, per serving. Okay, one stick, you have 6.3 billions of probiotics. And then the 5 strains that we use in our product is also clearly stated. Okay, you can see the strain that we use is being remarked with their scientific name one. Okay, so this with the scientific name one is all those strain that we use, like HN09, we have NCFM, we have BI04, all that. Okay, but in short, we have 5 hero, but mainly 2 is the feature strains. When we say feature strain, it's like the most important 2 strain, and then we have supporting strain. Supporting strain is like more on a supporting role, helping out these 2 feature strain to synergize the function, and at the same time they also have some minor benefits which I will share with you just later. Okay, so at the same time we also know because of the diet we seldom eat fruits and vegetables, so we want to make sure when it arrive in our gut safety, you will also be able to colonize and also spread healthily with food. So that's why it come with their food also, which is our chicory root extract, which is a very good fiber that will become the food for all these probiotics. Okay, you see how careful they actually plan all these things and how actually they put in the efforts. But if today you think back, if you take the yogurt, there's no chicory root or any fiber thing inside, right? It's just like pure yogurt. So you still need to replenish other things. So it's not a all-in-one so careful thinking by our scientists. Okay, so I'll go through very quickly the 5 strains, what are their function, so that we know it's not like simply pick one. Okay, it all come with the reason and also why they combine these 5 together to bring the best benefit to us. Okay, so HN019 basically increase the beneficial bacteria in the guts, and then it also adheres to the intestinal cell. That means it can help to packing inside the intestine and further decrease the packing of the black bacteria. So it will play that role. And then third, support the digestive system and also the regulatory of our digestive system. And then also support natural defenses. So when it says natural defenses, it will also directly help in terms of our immune system. Okay, so there's a research paper here you can see on the right-hand side, enhance the immunity by one of the strain, which is clearly stated here, HN019. So if let's say today, again, you ask yourself, kombucha inside got what strain? Don't know. Just take only. Okay, but what is the benefit you get from that? Also don't know. Okay, so second strain that we have, NCFM. NCFM actually helps to support digestive health and also regulatory. At the same time, this is the one that actually will help in terms of lactose intolerance. So it will actually help to improve this lactose intolerance because this kind of bacteria, it helps to degrade all the lactose input in our diet. Okay, so when you're able to degrade better, then it will lessen the trigger of our body sensitivity. So let's say without this probiotics, right, probably you drink 1 glass, you already run toilet. Okay, just like myself. Last time I remember very clearly, I drink a bit only, I diarrhea already one. But after I taking this probiotics for long term, it really improved. Now I can take up to more than last time already. Okay, I still don't have the reaction like need to run toilet or whatsoever. Okay, and then utilize prebiotic fiber. So this probiotic also help to utilize the prebiotic fiber to create more food and also generate a better, healthier colonization inside our body, right? So the other 3 supporting strain, first of all, is the one BI04. So this BI04 actually support digestive health. At the same time, they are also acid and bowel tolerance, and then they are excellent in adhesion properties. So lastly, they also help to restore the intestinal microbiota. So what does this mean? Is actually they are able to actually replicate very fast for this this type of probiotics, they can actually very fast increase the numbers, and then they can improve back the ratio between the bad and also the good bacteria. And then for the second one, LPC 37, this is to support our immune system. At the same time, it's also acid and bowel tolerant, and they increase the beneficial bacteria inside our guts. Okay, so for LA-14, again, it's also acid and bowel tolerance. All these 5 is acid and bowel tolerance, and then it also support our immunity. Okay, and then use fillers to actually inject back bacteria. You see, there's also additional function to this. You can actually attack one. Okay, you can attack the bacteria. But today, again, we ask ourselves, we intake kimchi, got this, all these 3 type or the 2 feature type or not? Don't know. Okay, so the mixture of these 5, right, make it a very strong army that when it goes in, it does their work synergically, and at the same time, it can actually reduce the bad bacteria. So not only to increase the good bacteria, but also it can reduce the bad bacteria. Okay, so how to take and what are the other key benefits? First of all, how to take is 1 day, 1 sticks, okay, on the go. It's so easy because the packing itself is a patented design with the 4 layer of sealing on the 3rd picture here, you can see. So you can actually bring it anywhere. Okay, even if you put inside your bag, it will be too hot or not, will spoil the content or not, don't worry because it has been thought of by Nutrilite. Okay, and then don't have to keep refrigerator, so there's no issue in logistics. So even like the product is from elsewhere, you don't worry about the distance, or it's too far from here, probably it's spoiled also. So don't have this concern because no refrigeration needed. Okay, and because of that, there's a longer shelf life. So today, if you always buy yogurt, you should know lah. Okay, yogurt maybe 2 weeks, 3 years, you will expire already. But this one can up to 18 months, okay, for our probiotics. So it's very convenient and it's a very great solution. So for adults, intake daily, okay. For kids, same thing, can intake daily. But kids, we have the kids version, right? So just now, there's one of the slide, if you still remember, even during kids stage, and they already degrade in terms of their probiotics. And if let's say we know how important is it, nowadays we also often heard parents have the problem their kids early age already constipation, okay, because don't want to take fruit, don't want to take vegetables. Either they can solve it using the smoothies that I mentioned just now, but if let's say for even more direct to get the probiotics, they have this product, the 4-in-1. Actually inside also got the probiotics HN019. Okay, so how to actually intake it? You can intake directly and drink water. You can also add it into your recipe. So example, this picture, you might say, oh, this one already got yogurt, why still add some more? But if you still ask this question, that means you didn't pay attention in my sharing, because we don't know whether still have a live one inside the yogurt or not, and we also don't know what strain that we have inside this yogurt. So by adding in our own probiotics, we can ensure this is a more wholesome meal, and then it can help us to achieve a more holistic function when it goes into our guts. Okay, so it's very easy to add, but just rules. If we want to add into our recipe, not add into the hot soup or not add into hot beverage, okay, it's okay. If we can add into a cold one or room temperature, it's fine. Okay, just to make sure there's no further harm or damage to the probiotics before it reach our guts. Okay, so that is how actually we can